Well, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? First of all, I'm gonna check if the audio is fine. Yeah, I think that's a good volume. I don't know. Does it sound good? Is it okay? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I don't know. Whatever you want. Anyway, welcome everybody to this Thunderbird live development session, live coding, live hacking, whatever you want to call it. I will try to work on Thunderbird while streaming, while explaining what I'm doing, but most likely it's gonna fail. Most likely whatever I'm attempting to do is not gonna succeed, and everything will be terrible and I will regret it forever. So yay. Also nothing. Just write in the chat if you wanna, if you have any questions or if you don't understand something that I'm doing. I will personally not understand what I'm doing, but let's get started right now. So first of all, I'm gonna switch camera. Oh, look at this. Hey, I'm on the other side. Hey, that's fun. Ugh. Okay, so what we are doing today, I am gonna try to implement something kind of easy, but also kind of cute, kind of nice. I don't know if it's doable or not, and if I will succeed or not. But we have a new address book inside Thunderbird, and we have some very nice new address book stuff. So let me see if there's any pull. No, I'm not gonna pull because I don't have time to rebuild from scratch. But yes, we're gonna do Mac build. Very simple. We have a new address book in Thunderbird 102, and there are a lot of features that are missing from the old 91 address book, but it's a lot of those features were kind of like extra. Like there's not much loss of functionalities, but unfortunately we didn't have time to port all the old features to the new address book. And one of those features is the ability to implement or add multiple selected contacts into a mailing list. So let me show you. Actually, let me see if I have a test account, macron, otherwise it's gonna be completely empty. Yeah, this is completely empty. Ugh, yuck. Okay, so actually macron, let me see if I can cancel, use daily, exit setup. Okay, address book. Oh, we have some, okay, we can use this. That's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna populate some fake data in my new fancy address book, which is literally like this little thing, which is super nice. So I'm gonna create, for example, Alex Castle. It's me. And then my email is alex.castle@invalid.foo. Then I'm gonna create a new contact called Mr. Roboto. Roboto@invalid.foo. And then I'm gonna create another one just for funsies called Dujek one arm. Whatever. It's dnd@invalid.foo. Whatever, just test data. Okay, we got our lovely list of people in our address book. In my personal address book and my collected address book, I can add a collected address book like collected contact, because we need collected at invalid.foo. Okay, we need some differentiation between the two, a collected address book and the personal address book, because we're gonna do something in it. But first of all, I'm gonna create a new mailing list inside of my personal address book. So test list. This nickname is test. I don't need any description or something like that. So when you create a mailing list in Thunderbird in new address book, you can start typing and searching for all your contacts that are there. We do autocomplete, and you can add all those that you want. Failure, it's fine. Yeah, you can add all the contacts that you want. Oh, one thing also, these, like clicking outside shouldn't close this sub dialog. Oof, this is terrible. Test list, test. And the problem is the other way around. Like when I have a contact, or imagine you have multiple contacts in here and you select all of these and I want to add these to my list, I can of course drag and drop it into the list, but the only options that we offer is create a new list with these contacts inside. And this is not super accessible because we don't have an option other than drag and drop, so it's mouse only, to add all of these into this list without relying on the mouse. If we want to do it with the keyboard, it's gonna be impossible. To do it with the keyboard, we need to edit the contact here and access the context menu, edit list, and start one by one typing these things. Okay. Remove it. It's not cool. So we need an option to, when the user selects something, if this selection comes to a specific, so if this address book has a specific mailing list or as available mailing list, we should show an extra button to say add to list. And when click it, it should open like a pop-up with the full list of mailing lists available, and it should actually allow users to add those things with just keyboards and not relying on mouse, or if we click, if we press enter, whatever, because all these buttons are keyboard accessible. We will implement like quick shortcut keys and accessible like access keys and all the other good stuff, but for now this is missing, so it's kind of bad, and we will fix that. I have a somewhat usable patch here. No, not really usable. I have the initial work of this patch, which is this update add list here. And if I compile it this super quickly, should let me shrink this because otherwise you're not gonna see my terminal. And I mac run this. We're back to our address book. It duplicates it. Wow. Okay. If I delete this, I don't need this. Okay. If I go back here, you will see that an extra button appears. And even if I have multiple selected, new list, add to list. So we have an extra button that shows up, add to list. And what we need to do is, rather than creating, of course, this was just a test to trigger the creation of the mailing list, we need to make sure that this shows up a dialog that lists all the available mailing lists. So let's create a bunch of other mailing lists so we can test some contacts being in some on others and stuff like that. And then we will move from there. So let's create some extra test personal list, and then another one basketball. Ooh, basketball list. And this one is surprise list. Perfect. This is great. Hey, Danny. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that you're sick, but thank you so much for being the only one watching this. It's amazing. We're gonna try to code something together, but I'm not sure if I will call these entertaining, but hey, better than nothing. Get well soon, hopefully. But let's code some shit. So I have the patch here, and here allows me to see the diffs a little bit better. So we have these add to list function, and then we have the get mailing list. We need to get the mailing list only for the people that we want. Okay, let's go to this piece of code here. We can start from here. Oops. We can start from here. Okay, so the code that I added when displaying the cards is context length lists length cards filter if any as a list. Okay, get mailing lists. Okay, so what I did here, basically the simple thing that I did, the initial work that I did, very, very straightforward. I first, in my XHTML, I created a new button called add to list button. I added a string to add it to the list, and I gave it like a simple CSS icon. Very straightforward, nothing terrible. In my JavaScript file, then I'm storing that button into a local variable of this class, and we need to hide and show that button depending on some condition. The condition that I currently put just as a test, I'm grabbing the full list of cards, like all the address books that are available, and seeing if any of those address books, there's any mailing list. If there's any mailing list, we show the button add to a mailing list. Otherwise, if we have no mailing list, the user never created it, we don't show the button because it would be useless to click on something and having an empty pop-up or something like that. I've been told that we cannot add a contact to an address book a contact to a mailing list if that mailing list doesn't belong to the same address book of that contact. And I had a confirmation before about that, because if you try to do it anyway, so for example, we have two address book here. We have a personal address book and a collected address book. In the collected address, we have the collected contact. In the personal, we don't have the collected contact. We have a bunch of other contact and all mailing list. If I try to grab this and leave it inside one of the mailing lists, it doesn't allow me. And this is a visual limitation of what can be done. But if I edit this list and I search for collected contact and I select this, I click OK. Yes, it's added, but if I go into personal address book, look what I have. I have collected contact. So I have collected contact in both personal and collected addresses. Also, it's transferred with a lowercase c. And if I go into all address books, it's duplicated. So this is a bit weird. We should fix this, but for now, that's a limitation that we cannot overcome. So we shouldn't show. This is all to tell you that, first of all, I'm going to remove it from this list and then remove it from the personal here because I don't want this. Sorry. This is all to tell you that we shouldn't show add to list if the contact selected doesn't have a list in its parent address book. That's the deal. Right? Okay. So let's do that. Let's start implementing this shit. We have some helper methods that we can leverage and use. So it shouldn't be too difficult, but this is the first time that I'm touching this type of code in the address book. So I might probably fail entirely. I might probably not be able to do it, but wish me good luck. And of course, if you want, I see a couple of people are showing up here, which is great. It's fantastic. This VOD will be available right away on Twitch, and also we'll upload it entirely on YouTube if you prefer that. But feel free to leave comments, and I will read the comments out loud. So for the people that are watching the VOD later that don't have the chat, it's fine. Also, what do you think about my Thunderbird hat? This is fantastic, isn't it? Hey, Danny, if you want, just share the crap out of this on all our social media, all your social media, so we can get more people to join. It's good to have a conversation on the chat on Twitch. But anyway, Also, forgive me, I've been working for probably like 9 hours straight. I'm exhausted. So if my level of energy goes down drastically, you will know why. Yay. It's fun. Hey, Mateos. Yes, I tweeted it. Thank you, Mateos. Welcome, first time chat viewer. Hello, who are you? Every time I get someone new in the chat, I like to ask, where are you from? What time is it? Where are you from right now? Because I'm always curious to see like who watches this video and at what time, what it's so interested about it. But yeah, let's start coding some magical shit. So I created this book list and we want to change it. First of all, I'm gonna leave this node because this should be cached. Otherwise, every time we display a card, we fetch again the list of available mailing lists. We shouldn't do it. We should do it once, and then if the nothing changed, we shouldn't fetch it again. We should be very, very careful. Mateus, thank you. Hi from Brazil. It's 11. It's almost 11 p.m. Oh wow. It's late. It's late. You should be asleep. Get index, get row. We should get the book. Yes, we should get the book. Get row from UID. Okay, so here we are doing something. So first of all, in the display cards, we have the list of cards. We collect all the available selected thing, and we also check if the lists. Okay, perfect. Okay, so here we collect all the selected contacts, and we also check if that any of those contacts selected is a list, because of course, if it's a mailing list, we don't want to show the button add list to a mailing list. That would be kind of silly. So the condition, this one that we're using here, is hidden if the list of length, the amount of list. Okay, let's put some comment. Hide the add to list button if any of the selected cards is a mailing list, is a list. Whoops. Okay, so this condition is good. If the list is bigger than 1, is bigger than 0. Actually, let's make it more obvious. Bigger or equal than 1. We hide this. And we kind of want to do the same here to display contact. Show a read-only representation of a card in the details pane. A read-only representation of a card. Hidden. This has to be true. We don't want to show this if it's a read-only, because if it's a read-only, we cannot manipulate it, so we cannot move it into a list. We want to just put some limitations in here. Okay, great. Then we have these things that we don't need it anymore, but we should get mailing list for AB, for book. Get the currently available mailing list for the request for the this should be something. Oh my god, I'm so tired. This should be something for the currently selected for the address book containing the currently selected card, or yeah, something like that. Well, we'll deal with that later. Anyway, this here. So we got We got this. Okay, let's see if it works. First of all, let's see if our I don't think I should need to build this because it's very straightforward JavaScript, but just is a force of habit. But yeah, let's see macron. Okay, so if I have it, I don't see it. Book list, I shouldn't see it. That's good. But here I should see this. Should edit list. I should see like add to list. Yeah. Danny, yeah, I'm building just to show off how fast my PC is. Yes, absolutely. So this new list, I shouldn't be able to add list into the new list. New list. There's something wrong here. Content lands hidden. If lists land cards filter, lists land lists length. So what's the length of these lists? Let's check it out. Let's check it out because we want to see if I select something, what's the length of this list? So I select this. Oh, it's not showing up this. Okay, it's not showing up. So when is this showing up? Display cards. Oh, display cards is when multiple are selected. Yes, multiple are selected, and now we have the one list. So one list is true. So add to list, we cannot add all those things to list to the list. But if I remove this, yes, add to list show up. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, perfect, fantastic. Okay, now we got this. First thing, we got it. Then the same thing we need to do here. Instead of hidden true, new list button hidden true, display contact. Now here we need to show it if the contact belongs to an address book that has a list in it. So there you go. We have it here. We're fetching the address book that is list belongs to, this contact belongs to. So I can boom, 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 boom. Actually, let me move them here. Book here. Perfect. So we can add to list book. It's hidden if the book is read-only, or how do I get the list of an address book? Let me check that code that I just changed before, which is up here. We got our lists here. From the cards, no, from the books mailing list, but I also did that piece of code that I got here. Filter, read-only, child nodes. There you go. Has child nodes. Okay, I got this. I got this. Someone said that I got this. Okay, so I can do book, filter out. If we got okay, find a book, some, if any of these books or book is read-only or child. Okay, child nodes, it's how we check. Okay, if book read-only or book doesn't have any child nodes. Okay, okay, this should be it, I guess. Let me see if I can do it without compiling again. All right, so we have in my personal address book, Alex Castle, add to list. But if I select the collected addresses, add to list there. I don't have any address. What is happening? It's hidden. If book read only, it's hidden. It's true. Or book doesn't have child notes. Log book child notes. What is this? Is this like, do I need to, I think I need to check for the length of that, because that's potentially an array. So boom, what it's currently, oh, child notes, yeah, list. If I do this, yeah, it's an empty array. So, okay, I need to check the length. Is length. Okay, I need to check the length. It's just the issue. It should be. So add to list, collected address. It doesn't have, because the collected address, it belongs to the collected addresses address book, which doesn't have any mailing list, so we cannot show it. And this is my list, so we don't show anything. This we show it. This we don't show it. If we select multiple, we show it. If we grab a mailing list, we don't show it. And also, if we get collected, we shouldn't show it. Or do we show it? We shouldn't show it if we grab the collected addresses. Yeah, I don't think we should show it. Well, that's a usability thing, right? So that's the question, and maybe you can give me a suggestion. So in this situation, I'm in all address books. So I see all my contacts from both personal and collected. So I also see the collected contact that it's here that belongs to an address book that doesn't have a list. So I'm not able to add this to another address book list, because otherwise we just duplicate it, and it's not very good in terms of data handling. So if I select one of the contact in all address book, I see them all. Select one of the contact that is part of personal address books. Actually, we can also do this. We can see, yeah, we can reveal the name of the address book, so it's clearer. Fantastic. But if I select this and I select all contacts from the same address book that they have a list, this is perfectly fine. Add to list. But if I select one contact that is part of the address book with a list and another contact that is part of an address book without a list, do we show this? And by showing this, does it mean that we duplicate the contact if the user sets something, or we don't add the faulty or the external contact from another address book? So what it's better, like not showing the UI, or creating something and knowing that it's not going to work, but not letting the user know? Or maybe instead of hiding this, we can disable it and show a pop-up like, there are contacts that don't belong to an address book with maybe we should show a title for this. Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should disable it. Okay, let's do that. Great. Found a solution. Okay, fantastic. Wow, amazing. All right. What do you think? Yeah, does it looks good? Yeah. By the way, also, other than my lovely Thunderbird hat, what do you think about my super cool Thunderbird t-shirt? Boom. Look at this. This is my favorite. This is amazing. New merch. Yeah, who this? Yeah, sorry. That's stupid. Okay. Ba-da-da-da. Let's code this. Great. Thank you, Mateus. Very supportive. Love it. Thank you so much. Are you subscribed, Mateus? Subscribe to my Twitch channel. So you can get notified every time I do a wonderful live streaming, because what I'm doing, it's so exciting and it's just like mind-blowing coding capacity. Yes, fantastic. Okay, so we can nuke this because we don't need it entirely. Great. I love deleting extra code that I don't use it. It's fantastic. It just gives me a warm feeling. So yay. Then, so here in the display contact, this is a single card, so that's perfect. But what we need to update it is in the display cards. Where is the display cards? The display cards. There you go. Here is the culprit of hide the add to list button if any of the selected cards is a list, or if any of the selected contacts belongs to an address book without belong to different if any of the selected contacts belong to a different address book, or if, let me rephrase that. Comments are very important because the next developer using this should be able to figure it out. If not all of the contacts are from the same address book. Danny says, I wish there was a hat with an embroidered logo. I wouldn't mind paying more for it. Yeah, I know. We're considering extra merch. Right now, we created some very, very simple stuff, simple merch. But in the future, we're considering it, doing something a little bit more fancy. Also, we started with the merch with like no profit. Like what you pay is what it's needed to build to create it. So we don't make any profit out of it. It's like literally $0 because we wanted to keep the cost as low as possible. But yeah, also the embroidered things like costs more, and we didn't want to put out these things right away. But in the future, we will consider absolutely. Mateos, I'm not seeing the subscription button. I'm already a follower. Oh yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not that famous on Twitch, so I don't have the subscription thing. But yeah, if you're already a follower, thank you so much. That's lovely. I really appreciate. But does this comment make sense? Hide the add to list button if any of the selected cards is a list, or if not all of the contacts are from the same address book. We need to do that. Otherwise, it's shit. Also, I think I want this to be after the add or create list. I think this makes more sense to be after the create list. Whoopsie. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Create list or add to list. This has to be after, so it respects a little bit. Okay. Add to list button. Let's go back here. This makes sense. All right. If lists is blah, 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 or books, contacts, cards, do we check the books? How do we check the let book equal card directory UI, get directory from UID, let books equal books map. Oh shit, on drop card of cards book card directory UID. Okay, so for each card we have a directory UID, so we just need to have a boolean to check if a compare. We need a compare JavaScript, right? So we need to something, and just put it in a comment because I need to write it down. Compare if card1 directory is different from card2 directory. So we need to loop through all these selected cards and check if any of those directory UIDs is different. If any of those is different, then we cannot add to list because they belong to different address books. So I think a simple JavaScript filter, JavaScript compare. Actually, let's do it here. I don't remember. MDN, JavaScript compare. Equality comparison, sameness, prototype compare, expression and operator. No compare. Filter, a filter. It's a different type of filter. Is reduce? Reduce. I think it's reduce. I never remember the proper filters. Previous value, current value, yes. It's reduce. I don't know if it reduce makes sense because reduce is to actually do operations. Every there was an article that was very interesting. So yeah, I can use the arrow function init value here. Yeah, here usually it does just a calculation here. Initial value, reduce, previous value, current value, array, initial value, return value. Reduce method takes two arguments, a callback function and an optional initial value. Initial value is provided. Reduce calls the reducer callback function. Each element reduce returns the value that is returned from the callback function on the final iteration. Okay, on the final iteration of the array. So maybe I'm not sure if reduce is the correct one. Expression or operators. Yeah, reduce. No. What was that? Yes. Filter, reduce. Map. Programming is 90% searching Google. Yes, it is. Exactly. Result item. Return. Can I use reduce to return a boolean? That's my concern, because usually reduce is used to do a sum. But if I use cards, wait, why am I going here? Cards, reduce. Oh wait, it's reduce gonna actually change the, no. Reduce A, B if A dot directory UID is different from B directory UID. Let different books. Different books. Different ABs. And I think these variable, but let me log this variable. I don't know if this is correct because reduce usually are mathematical operation. I don't know if a Boolean operation makes sense or not. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Multiple. Boom. It's false. Okay. Multiple. New list. It's true. Multiple. New list. Let's remove this. It's true also. Add to list. It's false. It's false. It's true. Okay, this is not. So if I am in the same exact address book, this should always show it. Why is not showing? Okay, yeah. So it's not. Yeah, it's not. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, god damn. Let first AB first directory UID equal cards. Let's grab the first one, 0 directory, boom, boom. Okay. Then we can say if cards sum C directory UID is different from first directory UID. So we are doing this differently. Let's give it a try. Okay, add to list. This is a list, shouldn't show it. Perfect. This is collected address, and this should be true. Perfect. Add to list. Add to list. Perfect. If I go here, no. If I go here, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Did it. I wish I could do this in a single filter or something without grabbing the first directory cards. I guess I could do this, but then I will fetch it every time, and I prefer to have it this so I can actually yeah, this is acceptable for now. I think we can improve it later. Actually, let me build, because I changed the XHTML, and if I don't build, the markup doesn't reflect. So let me do this, and I will make run. Okay. Add to list is after, and if I add, it's hidden. If I got this, it's right after. Because I want it to, as a third, right? Is write search add to list. Then if you select multiple, you have write new list. And if it's valid, write new list add to list. So it's always at third position. Add to list, boom, boom, add to list. Perfect. I like this. Okay. So we did one. We did a little thing. Now we need to do the bigger thing. And the bigger thing is actually opening the dialog and showing the list of mailing lists. Denny says it's really a pain in the ass that Mac doesn't watch and reload automatically. Yes and no. Like for the majority of things, if like editing JavaScript, it doesn't require building. So it wouldn't make sense watching. What requires rebuilding is C++ and XHTML because we're changing the XML structure. So we need to pass through the compiler. That's the only painful thing. But I don't know if I would have an option to keep it live. I mean, it might be good if you have a very fast machine, but even for me, if it auto reloads whenever I save, it's still, how much is it? Like 8 seconds. Like auto reload, it's good if it's instantaneous, like Vue.js or React. 8 seconds to rebuild every time I save, it's not great, right? So yeah, sketchy stuff. Okay, we got this. We need to update our method here. Yeah, right now as a placeholder, I put add to list. And the add to list method is here. Open a new sub dialog with the list of available lists. So hype scream. Why hype scream? Because it works. Woo! Thank you for the emote. There's so much hype in here. Okay. So right now, yes, I'm reusing the same like sub dialog. We need to nuke these as well. But what we need to do, we need to create a new template for an HTML dialog. We want to use an HTML dialog for this because we want to be modern. We got the photo dialog here. And I guess we want to use dialog. Oh my god, so tired. We want to use a dialog template because if the user never needs to access that mailing list add to thingy, we don't need to show it at all. So yeah. Also, there was an idea floating around about not using a dialog, but actually using a pop-up sub-menu, something like the menu, like you open up and you have a list of your mailing list. The problem is that, like something like that, right? You click on the add to list button and we show a drop down with all the mailing lists available, and you can toggle it like on and off, check and remove and add to mailing list. That's definitely nice. That would be nice. The problem is that something like that breaks very easily if users have more than 10 mailing lists. Imagine like a massively long list of 10 or 20 mailing lists. You might have, especially like in Thunderbird, we have a million different mailing lists and we organize things because we have so many contacts. So that UI is not scalable. It's easier, it's simpler to have something like that, a sub dialog that you can scroll inside, and maybe you can have also a search field in it. If you have so many mailing lists, you search it like we do here, you filter things super quickly based on what you type, and it's easier. So yes, it's extra work, it's a bit annoying, but hello Green Cafe, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the first time chatting with me. Same questions for you that I ask everyone that joins and writes for the first time. Where are you from and what time is it, the place that you're watching this video, because I'm curious. And thanks for the follow, Green Cafe. That's beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I see you're a Prime Gaming user. Oh my God. There's a celebrity here in the house. I'm coding Thunderbird, if you're wondering who the hell is this weird guy talking and chatting. But yeah. Okay, so I need to create that sub dialog thing. Oh, Green Cafe, you're from Colorado. Oh, from Sumo. Hey, thank you. Lovely. Lovely to have you here. So Sumo is support at mozilla.org. Thank you so much for your work on Sumo and your support. I'm coding the beautiful address book on Thunderbird, and I just created this new add to list button, and now I need to add extra things. So I need to create the dialog. If I'm not wrong, not this. This is an HTML dialog, the new address book pop-up. And you can see the difference, right? You can see if I have this, it looks slightly different from this dialog. It's styled following the Firefox days. Like, we need to change these colors. We will do it later. But we have all these add CarDAV dialog or add LDAP dialog. This is still the old one. You can see when it's an old one. It has some inconsistent styling. But yeah, we need to add these new address books. So I'm literally gonna just open the DevTools and check, like, what are we calling here? What is this method? New address book class, new address book in the toolbar menu, button, toolbar menu, button. Oh, there you go. Sorry. ID toolbar create. We got the is toolbar menu, toolbar create button. Perfect. Let's search for this inside here. There you go. What is this action? What is triggering this? Add events list, run command, create book. And in create book, we do type of URLs, sub dialog open. We open a sub dialog with the URL. We open a sub dialog? What? About address book. XHTML. Oh no, oh, this is a Zool dialog. I don't like this. Oh no, we don't want to do that. We want an HTML dialog. Or we want a sub dialog or an HTML5 dialog. HTML5 dialogs are better. Or way nicer. God, I don't like this. There is only Zool, yes. It's written here, there is only Zool. I hate Zool so much. We should have a template. Templates are great in HTML because they allow us to have all the markup that we want in the page without actually rendering it, because they don't trigger the render engine of the browser, because they're not physical. I mean, they're physically there, but they're not visible to the user until you call them with a JavaScript method. So you could have the most massive HTML markup ever, but if the user never needs it, it doesn't slow down. It doesn't add up to your loading of that page or loading of that section. So I love HTML thingy. Yeah, we got the templates here. We got a million different templates we could use, but I'm gonna use another template all the way out at the bottom of our Mateos. Yeah, no worries. Zool is a very ancient type of XML markup used by Mozilla, by Firefox, from the time that HTML wasn't as powerful as it is today. So for example, things like that. I'm gonna show you something. Run TV. No, this is my personal Macron. So things like, you see this button, the new address book button? If I click on the new address book, it opens a dialog. But if I click on the side with this drop down, it opens multiple options. This is called a split button. This doesn't exist in standard HTML. HTML markup or HTML standards, they don't have these default element. So Zool is a sort of like an extension of HTML, not really an extension of HTML. It's a simulation of HTML, but allows us to do many more things. Not anymore. HTML caught up a lot, especially starting from HTML5. A lot of elements caught up with Zool, and now we're slowly deprecating Zool in it is an XHTML thing. As you can see, like if I access messenger.xhtml, messenger.xhtml is the default file that Thunderbird loads it when starting. And because it's XHTML, we can convert that HTML to say, hey, use Zool, and we reference the Mozilla Zool specs. And so we are allowed to use command set. Command set is not an HTML command. We can use key set. We can use menu pop-up. Like all these things, or pop-up notification, all these Zool stuff that HTML doesn't have. But luckily HTML caught up, so we're slowly removing Zool from a lot of things, and we can use plain standard HTML. And you can see the address book is one of the most recent things that we built, and it's literally an HTML page. We have link and scripts and body. When we need to use Zool, like the toolbox and toolbar buttons, all those complexity that HTML doesn't have, we need to use this. We'll use HTML5. We're already using HTML5. All these things, all the code that we use are template, sections and asides and HR, like all article. You can see we already use HTML5, but there are some elements that they're not possible to create them. But the goal in the next 2 years is remove Zool entirely. Unfortunately, Thunderbird is a massive application with 1 million different pages, so removing Zool entirely takes time, takes effort, but yes, that's the goal. So with that said, let's continue. Oops, I moved my window. No, let's continue and let's go all the way to the bottom of this page. And here, let's create a template. And inside here, we want a dialog element. Thanks for the explanation. You're very welcome, Mateos. You can ask all the questions that you want. I also do these live development videos about Thunderbird because some community members, they join and they are, oh, I didn't know Thunderbird was built in JavaScript. I guess I can fix some things in Thunderbird because it's just JavaScript, so I can contribute. So I'm here. I like to explain things. I'm here to facilitate the community and those people that are interested in these things. Green Cafe says every little dialog box changed is a win. Yes, it is. Every little change is a win in general. Let's improve these things. All right, so I have already an HTML dialog for the account setup. Account setup XHTML. Dialog. Yeah, account setup dialog. I'm gonna have a div. Yes, okay. Let's give it a template ID. Add to let's be super verbose. Address book, add to list template. Since this is a unique identifier, we want to be super verbose about it, and we can use that. Also, I have something, actually, let me check. I need to check something super quickly. You guys chat with each other. I will be right back. Sorry. This is terrible. I'm the worst at doing live streamings. We got this almost there. Using app and whip implement. Yes, there you go. Okay. No. Okay. We got this. Okay, have template. Okay. Dialog class account setup dialog. Let's use class account set up dialog, just because we already have this class. We need to change the names of this class, but yeah, whatever. Mateus, yes, live streaming. Coding and live streaming is not easy. Yeah, indeed is not, because you make a lot of mistakes because you're focusing on, I need to keep everyone entertained, but also I need to actually work on something. So yeah, it's weird. Let's use a div inside here so we can wrap things up and can extract this, or actually we don't need to. Let's just write test h1 test add to list, actually add to list, and then h2 select in which list the selected context should be, whatever. Like, this is not real text, it's just a placeholder. Okay, we got this. Now that we got this, we should get the template, attach it to our, should we create a custom element? Yeah, I think we should create a custom element here. So HTML, is this something that extend HTML element? Extends HTML element. Okay, extends. All right, we have some custom elements here already defined. Oh, right at the top. This is weird. This file is getting pretty big. We should split this. Extends custom element, extends custom element, extends mover, extends mover, extend. Okay, class active time. Okay. We could do this. Okay, continue here, continue the work on this. So we can do class address book add to list dialog, extends an HTML element, something very straightforward. Then we can have the custom elements define. Let's give it a markup name, which is address book add list, add to list dialog. And then we reference this class that we just created and generated. Perfect. Then we can we need to build this thing. So connected callback, and in the connected callback we want to avoid to trigger it if it's already triggered. So if this has connected, just return. Otherwise this has connected is equal to true. Perfect. So here we need to do a bunch of things. First, we need to open the shadow DOM so we can attach some CSS files inside the shadow DOM and style the dialog without that CSS file leaking outside the dialog and styling the rest of the page. We don't need that. We don't want that. That would be absolutely god awful. But before we do that, let's check that if in content dialog, it's already in here, so we don't really need to do that. But this in content dialog shouldn't be there. Yeah. This in content dialog shouldn't be there. This sucks. this code, man. Okay, let's do it our way. Let's do it our way anyway. Okay. Let's do, let's grab the link. Actually, we don't need to do that. We can, yeah, if it's already in there, we don't need to do it. Okay, let's get the template, which is equal to document get element by ID. How did I call that? I don't remember. I called that massively long template name. Yeah, address book add to list template. We call this. And then we let dialog, it's equal to template content first element child clone node true. We want to clone everything, and then we can this append child dialog. And actually this should be dialog element. So this is accessible. This dialog element. So if we append the child is okay. What we did here, we created a custom element. Very, very simple, straightforward. We grab the template. We enter the content of the template. So we are here. We grab this template. We say enter the content. So we are here. Then we get the first element child, which is our dialog element, and we clone it because you cannot use HTML content from a template. You need to clone it. And the true is for, if I'm not wrong, it doesn't give me explanation, but like we clone also the child nodes. We clone the whole tree, the whole hierarchy. We don't just clone the first one. And now that we cloned it, we can attach it to this HTML element. So now that we have this, we can simply create a new HTML element and append it to the page whenever the user needs it. And in order to do that, we can go to that function, add to list. Yeah, add to list function. So here we can say, do we have any global variables here? We use the variables books list. Let's use var add to list dialog. Let's use this. We can do this. So add to list, to list. Boom, boom. So we can say that if the add to list is not defined, we get the custom element, like init the custom element, or we add to list dialog show modal is the name. I think so. It should be like that. So let's delete all of these things. So if add to list dialog is not defined, we define it. So let's say add to list dialog, it's equal to document create element, and we specify the custom element that we just made up on the spot, which is this. This is the markup that we want. And then we do document body append child add to list dialog. Hey, is this enough? I think we should see something. I'm gonna build because I changed the markup. I changed a lot of JavaScript, create a custom elements, all those things, they need to be compiled. So, hey, if it works, we're peachy. Are we peachy? Okay, so if I select this, add to list, we got show modal, add to list. Oh, it's not dialog, sorry. What is this? Jesus, I just created, it's not dialog, it's dialog element. Oh my God. Dialog element. Actually, I should do this, open. And then here, this should be private. so it's not accessible. And then open. This dialog element show modal. Okay, so with this method open, we can also in the future pass all the selected address books, all the selected contacts, and filled up this modal dialog with the list of mailing lists that the user needs to select. But for now, we're gonna see just a stupid thingy. Let's see if I don't need to compile. Hey, it works. Yeah, see, we got our wow, H1 is styled weirdly and H2 is not, so it's fucking awful. But yeah, we got our dialog, and of course to close it we can press escape, but we need a button to close it and show it. But that's perfect. So, and it works also here. It doesn't work here, is not visible. Perfect. But if we select multiple things and add to list, great, nice, thank you, Mateos. So this is great. We got a good foundation of all this shit here. Here we should receive the cards, because those cards are the list of NSI AV cars. Let's do this. It's always better. Green Cafe, I'm gonna check in a second. Just a second. This should be should be everything actually. This is the NSI AB card array. Boop, bum, boom. Because it's also here. Where is it? Wow, this is massive. Let's pass the cards here. The contacts, if any, to add to the file. The contacts to add to the list. Okay, here show the modal dialog and fill it up with the list of available mailing lists. Oh, it goes outside mailing lists. Boom, bam, boom. Okay. Cards. We need to do something. Got to do. Fill up the content with the list of clickable lists. With a list of clickable lists. That's perfect comments. Okay, let me check your question. How many fields are built out for contacts right now? I think all of them. If you create a new content, we got first and last name, and you can add a prefix, middle name, and suffix. Of course, if there's not enough space, it's just responsive a little bit, but let's go here and mix it all up. Yeah, there you go. Then display name, nickname, we got email address, and you can have work, home, or none. Add multiple email address, define the default one. We got a websites, we got addresses, street addresses. We got multiple street addresses. We got phone numbers. We got time zone. We got instant messaging. You can have Matrix, XMPP, IRC, SIP, Skype, and other. We got special dates. Could be birthday or anniversaries. You got notes, organizational property, which is title, role, organization, and department. And then you got 4 custom properties. This is just temporary. In the future, you will be able to add as many custom properties as you want. Right now, we did this because we needed to migrate the previously static custom properties. There were just 4 from 91 to 102. But yeah, you can, in the future, you will be able to add another custom property and name the custom property. Right now, this is just name custom 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can do whatever you want. Yes. Oh wow, yeah, thank you. I just saw those temporary contacts that look like a bar, and so I was interested. Oh yes, so these temporary contacts, we just show what the user has. So I created these contacts. You can also add your custom picture, but if you add extra things like test or like nickname here, first it shows in your card like nickname, display name, first and last. Then if you add extra things like this is work and my home email is alex2@invalid.foo, and then you got websites, work, https, alecad.com, things like that, phone number, cell 12345678991, time zone, where is it? Vancouver. Oh, it doesn't scroll, man. Oh, it's America, Vancouver. We need a search. We need to implement a search for this because this is awful. It's awful to search. America, Vancouver. If you click save, they show up. And also they are responsive. Like if you have a larger screen, we expand it to a certain limit, but at least we have 2 columns. And then you can respond. Oh, it also stacks on 2 lines if you don't have enough screen real estate. But yeah, it shows only the actual information that you have. It would be silly to show like all empty things, like an empty phone numbers and things like that, but it shows only what you filled up. And yeah, it's pretty great. Okay, this works. I'm so stoked. So I don't want to jinx it. I think I'm gonna stop it here. Oh, we have a bunch of people watching. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Green Card. Awesome. Yes, I'm very, very happy. So I'm gonna just do this add, commit, amend, and then mods fabit to my fabricator repository from my fabricator patch. So it's there, temporary. I can fetch it from somewhere else. It's great. Let me check if it was properly updated. It's a draft patch. Yeah, this is perfect. We got the address book, add to list dialog, show the UI. Yes, create here, should add some comments, add to list button. This is good. It's good. And then we got a custom element for the dialog. So we don't create it, you don't do anything until we need it. We got the extra button. We got the template, we got a bunch of new strings in it, and we have the icon. Perfect. That's the bare minimum to make it work. Awesome. Well, this was a blast. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you so much for all your questions. Thank you so much for all your contribution and collaboration. Thank you, Green Cafe, for the follow. I'm very happy. I'm 31 followers. This is fantastic. I have a YouTube channel with almost I'm at 95,000 subscribers, but I do other like coding things in there. It's completely different, but I will grab this VOD and upload it on the YouTube channel. Hopefully it will be helpful for everyone. I don't know whatever, it's fine. But yeah, thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of the day, the night, or wherever you are. And I talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.